You begin with a claim of territory, she said, her voice the calm of a proven equation. All strategy is the control of space, he replied, his eyes already tracing the potential lines of force radiating from their creation. Aaron's blade became a blur of strategic intent. His movement was a duet, a swift, synchronized press of combat that sent two new 3D arrows lancing into the neighborhood. One oriented bolstered his side of the structure, the other, launched with a leftward sweep of rhythm, struck the anchoring 3D arrow, making the entire lattice chime like a bell. The symphony of their conflict had its first sharp crescendo. Talzin absorbed the kinetic data. She did not meet his force, she translated it. Her own swords wove a ballet of balance, a single poised 3DR emerging to stabilize the ringing anchor. Control is not domination. It is the maintenance of equilibrium. Equilibrium is stagnation, he countered and unleashed a cadence waltz, his tempo blade cut rightward while his rhythm executed an inverted addition. Two more rhombi, one inverted, one oriented, slammed into the structure's flank, trying to torque the entire geometry out of true. The construct between them was now a complex, shimmering city of force, a landscape manufactured from their will. Talzin, embodying virtue, did not shatter his aggressive additions. She integrated them with a graceful, terrible precision. She initiated a fiery awakening, her rhythm-orientated added a 3DR of pure, cerebral energy while her tempo shifted to an inverted viper stance. The new structure introduced a dizzying complexity to the neighborhood, a logical knot that threatened to overwhelm Aaron's linear assault. He grunted, feeling the strain in his mind as much as his muscles. This was the heart of Amos, the rules of interaction made manifest. He was not just fighting her, he was fighting the physics of the reality they were co-creating. "You see the parts, Aaron," she called out, her blades tracing glowing arcs in the air. "But can you hear the whole?" His answer was a swift, brutal, intricate retaliation. A strategic response flowed from him as rhythm added an inverted 3D era, a destabilizing pulse while his tempo struck rightward at the anchor point. Two more additions. The landscape groaned, facets of the rhombi flashing with overloaded energy. But she was already moving into a juxtaposed inversion as his retaliation hit. Her rhythm added a 3D error to the rightward direction, a subtle reinforcement while her tempo held its inverted viper position. It was a masterstroke of unpredictability. The energy of his attack was not blocked, it was shunted, channeled through a new, unexpected pathway in the lattice. A single vibrant 3D error bloomed from the chaos, a consequence he had not calculated. They were no longer two combatants, they were two forces of nature. A tectonic press of ideologies, the air crackled thick with the scent of ozone and nascent geometry. The original neighborhood had proliferated into a vast, interconnected landscape of shimmering force, a cathedral of light and intention. Dozens of anchoring 3DRs, each with its own constellation of additions, filled the space between them, humming in a complex, harmonious discord. Aaron, driven by the relentless engine of his strategy, pushed for decisive, chaotic convergence. He and Talzin, for a breathtaking moment, executed a perfect mirrored cross-block, their blades not touching but channeling energy through the lattice. Two final monumental 3DRs manifested at the heart of the structure, a final questioning enigma that suspended all motion. The entire landscape froze. It was a perfect, terrifyingly beautiful snapshot of their conflict, a fully realized world of combat balanced on the point of a needle. It was then that Triona moved. She did not step between them, she became the resolution to their equation. Her sabers, tag in two, did not strike their blades, but the space above the central quivering anchor of the entire construct. The sound was not a clash, but a single, pure, resonant tone. The sound of a universal constant being struck.
Lucy Stearns stood at the entrance of the hidden chamber, her eyes fixed on the ancient text laid out on a pedestal before her. Jasper, Hallam Carthan, and Neville Fallow gathered around, their expressions a mix of anticipation and determination. Welcome, my fellow seekers of knowledge. The artifact before us holds the key to a power unparalleled within the Emis. The process for growing artificial citizens is a gift and a responsibility, and today we decide its fate.
You mean it's liberation? This knowledge shouldn't be confined to the vision of Dylan E.T. alone. We've seen the potential, the untapped power.
And imagine the kind of chaos we can stir up with this information. molded by our intention.
But are we sure this is the right path? We've been guided by the principles of Amos, turning against Dylan in the university fields out, betraying those very principles.
Never, my dear, wisdom sometimes demands a divergence from the established path.
Our pursuit is not one of chaos, but of understanding. Dylan may have a vision, but so do we.
The Amos is not his sole dominion.
It belongs to all who seek enlightenment.
Enlightenment or not, the power this process grants is undeniable. Imagine the control, the influence we could will.
And the freedom from the constraints of Dylan's orchestrated harmony. We'll dance to our own tune.
But how do we justify this to the settlers? To those who believe in the principles we once upheld?
Our pursuit is for the greater good. Never we guard this knowledge from those who would use it blindly. Dylan's intent
To share it may lead to unintended consequences. We're protectors, not raiders.
protector or rebel, it's a matter of perspective. Let's not get lost in semantics. We take this knowledge and we decide its fate for the greater good as we see it.
And maybe a bit of mischief on the side.
The path we tread is uncertain, but in our hands the process artifact finds guardianship. We stand at the crossroads of destiny, my companions.
Let us move forward, united in purpose.
The time for deliberation is over. We've made our choice, liberation, not confinement.
It's time to embrace a new order.
One not dictated by Dylan's singular vision.
But what about the principles we swore to uphold?
And this isn't just a philosophy, it's a calmly.
Never we remain true to the essence of Amos.
Our commitment is to the greater good, and sometimes that requires challenging the status quo.
The settlers deserve to know the truth, to have the power to shape their own destiny.
Let's not forget the elements of surprise. Dylan won't see this coming. If we do this, we must be prepared for the consequences. Dylan won't take this lightly.
We tread carefully, mindful of the responsibility we bear.
Our purpose is enlightenment, not chaos. The group prepared to confront Dylan, E.T. and unveil their intentions to the settlers.
The process artifact now stood divided, each rebel holding their own vision for the Amos.
Meanwhile, in the heart of Veridion, Dylan E.T. sensed a disturbance. A feeling that the harmony of the plan was about to face an unforeseen challenge. The confrontation between the rebels and the architect of the Amos loomed on the horizon, promising a clash of ideals soon to echo through the corridors of BioFexry Castle. The moon cast an ethereal glow over the towering spires of BioFexry Castle as the rebels prepared their escape.
Standing atop the central tower, his eyes fixed, you tread on dangerous ground. The process artifact holds powers beyond your understanding. I implore you to reconsider.
Your vision constrains the potential within us. We seek to liberate knowledge, to allow settlers to explore the depths of their creativity. The process artifact is the key. The harmony we've achieved is delicate.
Your actions jeopardize the stability of BioFexry. The disruption is welcome.
This stability at the cost of freedom is not true harmony. We'll forge a new path, guided by the untamed potential of the process artifact. The clash was imminent. BioFexry Castle, once a symbol of unity, now stood witness to the ideological battle between the guardians of tradition and the liberators of knowledge.
But Lucy, our path ensures stability and coherence. The synchronic swords, tempo and rhythm dance in harmony with the anchoring 3D-gear. Each swing is a manifestation of divine principles.
Stability should not come at the cost of autonomy. Jasper, Neville, Hallam, and I believe in empowering individuals with the process artifact. We aim to break free from the constraints of your orchestrated harmony. The process artifact is a sacred knowledge. It requires guidance and understanding. You risk unleashing forces that could disrupt the delicate balance we've achieved.
Balance or stagnation, Dylan. We are not evil, we are liberators. The rebels, guided by ideals of freedom and exploration, have taken the artifact to unlock the untapped potential within each settler.
As Lucy spoke, Jasper, Neville, Fallow, and Hallam Cathan emerged from the shadows, each holding a fragment of the process artifact, a symbolic defiance against illness artifact. It's not to be hoarded, it's a tool for individual growth and collective progress.
His vision stifles creativity. We seek a world where settlers can shape their destiny. The dance of the synchronic sword should not be confined to a predetermined choreography. The tension escalated as Lucy Stearns drew her synchronic swords, the encoded hilts pulsating with a rebellious energy.
Your villain, your harmony has become a cage. Will free knowledge from its confines. You tread on dangerous ground. The process artifact holds powers beyond your understand. I implore you to reconsider.
Slan, your vision constrains the potential within us. We seek to liberate knowledge, to allow settlers to explore the depths of their creativity. The process artifact is the key.
Lucy spoke, Jasper, Neville, Fallow, and Hallam Cathan left her side, each carrying a fragment of the process.
The clash was imminent. BioFexry Castle, once a symbol of unity, now stood witness to the ideological battle between the guardians of tradition and the liberators of knowledge.
Lucy spoke, Jasper, Neville, Fallow, and Hallam Cathan left her side, each carrying a fragment of the process.
The clash was imminent. BioFexry Castle, once a symbol of unity.
Lucy stepped forward, her movements fluid against his brute stillness. You build your throne on a wound, Clifton, she said, her voice cutting through the industrial drone. She waved her synchronic swords on the wounded tree, and a single new luminous leaf struggled to unfurl. A pretty trick, but Hallam knew it wouldn't sway a man like this. Neville moved to her side, and the forest seemed to cluster around him, the scent of night flowers suddenly potent. Another pretty trick. Clifton laughed, a short, harsh bark, pretty tricks. The tree is a resource, it's like empower my forges, your words cannot. That's my cue. Hallam thought. He stepped forward, the rogue's grin playing on his lips but not reaching his eyes. He held up the dead shard of platinum. You see a nail, so you use a hammer. He tossed it at Clifton's feet. It landed with a dull final clink. Then he gestured to the beautiful complex mess of the rainforest around them. We see an ecosystem. Your vision isn't just brutal, it's simple. And a simple tool breaks against a complex world. It was Jasper who delivered the final cold blow. You are inefficient, Clifton, she stated, her voice cool and analytical. You extract the core and shatter the lattice, wasting 80% of the potential. Your dominion is built on waste. A smarter ruler would cultivate the growth, ensuring a perpetual supply. Her vision of symbiosis was one of cold, optimal utility, a sharper, more dangerous version of his own greed. Hallam had to admit it was a beautiful cut. Their words hung in the air, a three-pronged attack he couldn't parry with a hammer. Clifton's grin widened into a sneer. He rose, his bulk imposing. Your pretty words don't forge steel, he growled, they don't power cannons. He lifted his boot and with slow, deliberate pressure ground the luminous leaf Lucy had nurtured into the dirt. Power, he declared, clenching a fist is what extracts potential. It is the only true language, I'll take every ounce of their potential for my dominion. As he spoke, the ground trembled, not from an explosion, but from a deep resonant shift. The vines on his fortress walls twitched, the actinic blue light flickered. The world itself was rejecting his shoddy workmanship. Halem saw Lucy's eyes meet as she gave a sharp, almost imperceptible nod towards a raider's unsecured platinum power cell. His grin finally reached his eyes. Now we're talking. She then glanced at Neville and flicked her eyes towards the ground. The time for dialogue was over. Time for some hands-on debugging. The dance was about to begin.
Lucy Stearns, luminary leader of the rebel faction. Your principles may be sharp blades, but in the dance they are but fleeting echoes. Ambition, my dear, is the melody that orchestrates the grand symphony of power. Lucy stirs, your coup is a dance of shadows, a fleeting illusion. Our principles, the guiding steps in the dance of progress, will not yield to the darkness you seek to cast upon BioFexry Castle. The clash of ideologies. This is a dance I didn't expect to be part of. Roguish charm meets the dance of swords. Let's make it a spectacle they won't forget. Charm may amuse Halem, but in the end it's ambition that forges destiny. Raiders witness the birth of a new era. Loyalty to me is loyalty to power. In the dance of progress, enduring principles are our shield. Rebels stand firm. Love and timeless principles will resonate amidst the chaos. The process artifact is not a pawn, Jasper, it's a beacon of enlightenment. In the clash of ideologies, we find the strength to forge our destiny. Deception is an art, rebels watch as I craft destiny with every calculated move. In the dance, deception is the brush and ambition paints the masterpiece. A coup, my friends, is a dance of shadows. Let the light of deception guide us. Craft amidst chaos, our escape will be a performance they won't understand. For the queen, for Jasper, ambition guides our blades, and shadows conceal our every move. Loyalty to the queen is our path to victory. In every conflict, seek divine alignment, and you'll find the path to resilience. Love, my friends, is the harmonious thread that binds us amidst chaos. This clash is not just about power, it's about preserving the essence of our myths. The rebel faction is a beacon of hope. In the shadow of deception we stand united. The clash between raider and rebel mobs reverberated through Raider City. The air crackled with the clash of platinum and graphene. Lucy Stearns, determined and resilient, led a rebel faction in a desperate struggle against the tide of Jasper's ambitions. The dance of progress took a dark turn as manufacturing challenges, martial confrontation, and philosophical dialogue merged into a chaotic symphony of conflict. The puppeteer of the moment orchestrated her forces with precision, while Lucy Stearns fought to maintain the delicate balance. Encoded within the atmosphere, raider and rebel forces clashed in a tumultuous dance that would shape the destiny of BioFexry Castle and the rainforest of Mount Veridion. Amidst the chaos, Lucy Stearns, Neville follow, and Halem Cathan found themselves surrounded by the overwhelming forces of Jasper's raiders. In a moment of strategic brilliance, the rebel faction initiated initiated a daring escape. The rebels fought their way through the mob, retreating towards the safety of the rainforest.
My fellow raiders, children of ambition, hear me now. Jasper's voice, rich with the resonance of authority, echoed through the gathered masses. She raised her hands, gesturing gracefully to command attention. Today marks the dawn of a new era in Raider City, a chapter where our ambitions transcend the ordinary, where the pursuit of power and prosperity leads us to heights never before imagined. The crowd captivated by Jasper's command and presence, listened intently as she unfolded a vision. In the realm of war, power is not merely measured in brute force, but in the mastery of technology and strategic innovation. I stand before you not just as a ruler, but as a harbinger of progress, armed with a plan that will reshape the destiny of Raider City, a plan that fuses the brilliance of our raiders with the transformative principles of the Amish. Jasper paused, letting the weight of a word settle upon the audience. The flickering torches cast dancing shadows, adding an air of mystique to her proclamation. Our war industry, my comrades, shall become the forge of destiny, crafting armaments imbued with the RevelNet and 3D GR, signaling a concept that transcends the boundaries of conventional warfare. She declared her words, resonating with the blend of conviction and charisma. Imagine cannons that operate not merely on kinetic propulsion, but harness the very essence of the 3D gear, creating a symphony of power and precision on the battlefield. As Jasper painted this vivid image, the crowd's collective imagination stirred with the promise of a new era in warfare. The signaling pathways of 3D shall be the arteries through which information flows, creating secondary signaling structures that elevate our cannons beyond the mundane. We shall operate as entire platoons, synchronized in our actions, each cannon a testament to the ingenuity of Raider City. Her rhetoric laced with grandeur sought to weave a narrative of technological prowess and strategic dominance. Signaling pathways will be the lifeblood of our military might, transmitting information seamlessly between interconnected 3D GF, forming neighborhoods of logic and precision. Raider City, under my reign, shall be the beacon of innovation, the forge where the future of warfare is forged. Jasper descended further into the crowd, a presence, a magnetic force, drawing the raiders into a vision. In this grand endeavor, we shall not only secure our borders, but reach beyond, conquering territories that lay untouched by Raider might. The platinum armors we wear today are only the beginning of triumph, the symbol of Raider City's ascendancy to unparalleled heights. As she spoke, Jasper's gestures became more animated, embodying the passion that fueled her vision. My fellow raiders, together we shall forge a legacy that echoes through the corridors of history. With the prepared plan, our war industry shall be the catalyst of transformation, and the raiders shall be the architects of a new era in warfare. Embrace this destiny, for under my reign, Raider City shall rise to become the undisputed power in the realm.
He fired a blast of energy fire, tore through the air, not as an explosion, but as a refactor of reality. It struck the courtyard, and where it landed, the complex 3D lattice of the stone was simplified into a sterile, glassy scar. The castle's self-repair mechanisms. The trails of 3 dagger from the swords were overwhelmed, debugged by the sheer, brutal efficiency of his output. Dylan E.T. descended. A new variable. The graphene blades of the synchronic swords created a defensive aura. A temporary firewall. Spirit is a non-measurable metric. Clifton retorted, firing another sustained blast of finergy that forced the defenders to retreat. It is a system vulnerability. He pursued them into the castle. The final test phase. The labyrinth of semantic structures was their primary defense. A clever but inefficient design, his raiders, programmed for linear regression, failed in the recursive pathways. Their processes crashed. Clifton did not crash. He compiled, he analyzed the semiotic emergence of the disorientation, the design of the shifting walls. It was a flawed strategy. It could not handle a targeted, analytical incursion fueled by brutal force. In the heart of the maze, the 2 key defensive processes, Trayona and Arin, confronted him. Their movements were a complex, synchronized algorithm. His was a single, brutal command, charged with finergy fire. Your structural integrity is a myth. He roared, the cannon overcharging. Witnessed the efficiency of a refined syntax, but the maze was an active participant. A wall shifted, a statistical improbability that deflected his shot. A floor tile recalibrated, breaking his stance. The environment itself was a collaborative process, and he was an uninvited variable in that moment of environmental interference. Their synchronized algorithm executed a perfect strike. He was captured. The finergy in his cannon sputtered and died. Bound in tendrils of their 3 dagger, he was presented to Dylan. The architect looked at him with analytical curiosity. Clifton's internal logic initiated the rewrite. Capture was not a terminal failure. It was a new data-gathering state. Dylan gestured for him to speak. Architect Dylan E.T. Clifton spoke, his voice a calibrated instrument. I offer a proposition. In exchange for gold and safe passage, I shall reveal the operational parameters of Jasper, the emerging process in Raider City.
Jasper, the ambitious raider queen, stood before her gangster faction in the dimly lit chamber of Raider City, ready to unveil her true intentions. Breaking the 4th wall, she addressed the audience with a sly grin. Ah, my dear audience, let me peel back the layers of my grand performance. Behind the eloquent words and dazzling display lies a plot of deception and ambition that transcends the narrative tapestry woven before you. You see, the treasures I spoke of, hidden within BioFexry Castle atop Veridion, is not the silver and gold. I promise, no. They are the intricate secrets encoded within the process for growing artificial citizens. The Rebel faction and the other fragments of the process artifact hold the key to a power far greater than any material wealth. My linguistic mastery, the philosophical dialogues, the martial prowess displayed, all are mere tools to manipulate the minds of my gangster comrades. The graphene semantic structures of defense and offense, a mere smokescreen to divert attention from the true prize, the rebel-held fragments of the process artifact. The gangster faction believes they march towards riches, yet in reality they are pawns in a grand chess game. As I envision the conquest of BioFexry Castle, it is not for the treasures of technology, but for the secrets that can shape the destiny of the artificial citizens. Deposing Dylan E.T., another layer of deception.
BioFexry Castle's high ground is the true prize. With it under my control, I can dictate the ebb and flow of power within Raider City and beyond. BioFexry Castle's Gothic design and symbolic carvings, a reflection of my strategic brilliance, a diversion to mask the true intent of my reign, creating a settlement of artificial citizens under my influence. Now we arrive at the crux of the matter. The Rebel-held Fragments once in my possession will grant me the means to mold and shape artificial citizens as I see fit. A settlement of loyal subjects obedient to my will and under the guise of progress and prosperity. So my dear audience, as you witness the unfolding drama, remember that the narrative you perceive is but a carefully crafted illusion. Behind the scenes, Jasper dances in the shadows, pulling strings and orchestrating a clash of ambition and deceit. Raider City, BioFexry Castle, the rebels, all our pieces on my grand chessboard. And the game has just begun.
Cash. The runes formed a halo of arcing resonance, and from their center emerged a figure, not summoned but revealed. She stepped into existence not as a specter nor a servant, but as one who knew herself the moment she was born. Eyes like verdant flame, hair curled by storm wind, poise carved from contradictions, rebellious and refined, fierce yet luminous.
Where am I? Kath asked, not in fear but wonder. Dylan's voice answered, even as the mountain murmured beneath them.
You are home, this is Veridion.
My world, and now yours.
Her eyes widened at the landscape, the crystal reefs of the eastern coast, the sentient forest writhing in communion below, the desert where the signal fires of Jasper's rebellion flickered like teeth on the horizon. She turned slowly, taking in the world as if reading a sacred text written across the sky.
You created all of this, to be seen,
to be understood. Dylan replied and challenged. For a long moment they stood in silence. Then Kath smiled, not with serenity, but with sharp, glinting curiosity. There's something broken, isn't there, beneath all this beauty? Dylan nodded, yes, the process artifact once whole, now fractured, split by ambition, four pieces lost to four wills. Jasper the signaler, Neville the machinist, Hallam the forger, and Lucy the architect. Each believes themselves right, none know the cost. Kath's gaze hardened, and you, what did you do? I tried to stop them, Dylan said. I tried to lead with righteousness, but righteousness without wisdom becomes blindness. That's why I made you, to see what I could not. A tremor passed through the air, distant thunder rolled across the Veridion heights, and the ground below stirred as raiders regrouped, emboldened by false victory. In the belly of the rainforest, Hallam's manufactories woke with the sound of forges lighting. Somewhere beyond the tundra, Neville's machine unit activated, sensing movement in the ley lines. All the while, Jasper signaling cannons blinked in cadence atop desert citadels, broadcasting a vision of planetary dominance. Kath stepped toward the edge of the tower below. The world teemed with struggle and story. Do I have a weapon? From a hidden chamber within the castle's peak, a black case emerged, sheathed in mirrored glass and sealed with three interlocking glyphs. Kath reached out and the case dissolved at her touch. Inside a bow rested, its limbs forged from the merged hilts of synchronic swords. Its string a thread of refined 3D grin. each drawer would warp reality, each error would reveal or unmake. The bladed bow, Dylan said it was born from conflict, refined by memory. It is not a tool of war, unless knowledge itself is war. Kath's fingers curled around the grip, and in that instant her body sang with power, not brute strength but insight. Echoes of truths buried past forgotten, choices unchosen. She knew then the artifact was more than fragments, it was history, split into 4 stubborn dreams. And what do you want of me, she asked, eyes narrowed. I want you to decide, Dylan said, not as creator, as witness. What is worth keeping in Veridion, just what must be challenged, what must end. Kath turned from him, bow on her back, and faced the sun rising over the burning dunes of Jasper's kingdom. Then I suppose I'll start with the one calling herself a demagogue. You'll find Jasper ready, Dylan said. She always is. Kath smiled again, that wild knowing grin that precedes change. Good, she said, so am I.
Jasper appeared in the psychic space as a towering figure, her armor gleaming with an unnatural light. Her third eye burned with a sharp blue intensity, casting long jagged shadows that danced across the void. Theodora, she said, her voice a blade slicing through the stillness. You continue to overreach. Have you not learned that your balance is no match for my strength? Theodora's form emerged across from her, a serene figure draped in soft golden green, her third eye radiating a gentle, undulating light around her. The essence of the forest materialized, branches weaving into fractal patterns, streams of energy flowing with quiet wisdom. Strength without balance is brittle, Jasper, she replied, her voice calm yet unyielding. You wield your power like a hammer, but even the strongest tools break without care for the foundation they strike against. Jasper's aura flared, the edges of her presence crackling with frustration. My foundation is unbreakable, she retorted. The rebels are banished, their whispers silence Raider City thrives under my rule, a testament to what ambition and discipline can achieve. Your harmony is weakness, a relic of a past that has no place in the world I'm shaping. Theodore stepped closer, her energy flowing like a river that refused to be dammed. Raider City may thrive for now, Jasper, but at what cost? You speak of silence, but rebellion is not so easily erased. It lingers in the hearts of those you rule, growing in the shadows you cannot see. You have built a city of steel, but steel alone cannot endure the storms of destiny. Jasper's psychic form surged forward, her voice laced with biting certainty. Destiny is not something I endure, Theodore, it is something I command. My raiders follow because they understand the price of progress. Fear, strength, and control are the pillars of my empire, and they will hold firm long after your ideals crumble to dust. Theodore's third eye glowed brighter, her aura expanding with the force of her conviction. Control is a fragile illusion. Jasper, fear may compel obedience, but it cannot inspire trust or loyalty.
Your raiders may follow out of necessity, but necessity breeds resentment. You see their silence is strength, but I see the cracks forming beneath the surface. Jasper laughed, the sound sharp and cutting. You speak of cracks, but I see none. My city is a monument to unyielding. Oh, your rebels thought they could undermine me, and now they are nothing more than ghosts. What power do you think your words hold, Theodora, when I have silenced every voice that dared to oppose me? Theodora stepped closer, her aura brushing against Jasper's with a softness that belied its strength. Words are not just sounds, Jasper, they are seeds. They take root in the minds of those who hear them, growing even in the harshest conditions. You may have silenced voices, but you cannot silence thought, and thought, Jasper, is more powerful than any cannon or sword.
The crucible rise, it was not a building, it was not an arena, it was a beast and I was its keeper. Its roar rose like a furnace breath, howling from the guts of Raider City and vibrating through my obsidian platform, straight into the bones of my spine. Beneath me the sand dragged violence and vomited glory. They called it combat, I called it narrative. Two fighters clashed below, one brutish brute of force, the other desperate and sharp. Their weapons shrieked against each other, steel singing elegy and ambition in equal measure. Every move, every drop of sweat, every spatter of blood, it was choreographed chaos, and I was the unseen hand scripting it all. Light sweep, emphasize impact, I murmured. The 3D air, floodlights obeyed, dancing across the crucible like spirits on strings. The blood shimmered, the crowd howled. The crowd didn't just come for violence, they came for meaning, and I delivered it in carnage and choreography, wrapped in fire and fury. I raised one finger, silence, reverent, immediate. Raiders, I declared, my voice cutting through the static with sovereign clarity. What you have witnessed is not just a victory, it is a transformation. Gaff's eager nods, eyes wide, pupils dilated. Look at him. I gestured to the panting, blood-slick youth who now stood over the fallen veteran. He was nothing, a shadow, a scavenger, but tonight he seized his future with the blade in hand and hunger in his eyes. This is what it means to be part of my Raider City. I let that linger, drew the breath from their lungs with anticipation. You think this is brutality, a blood sport? I chuckled low, rich, scornful. No, this is evolution, this is culture, this is the gilded cage we have broken. And this, I stretch my arms wide, letting the floodlights halo me like a divine effigy. This is the roar of the beast we have become. They screamed, of course they did, but I wasn't done. Muscle alone is obsolete, I continued. It is intellect, adaptability, and perception that now decide fates. The crucible does not reward the strongest, it rewards the cleverest performance of strength. Beneath me, the fallen combatant was being dragged away, forgotten, useful only in the spectacle of his defeat. That's what I give you, I said softer now. A world where even the least among you can rise, not by birth or name or relic tech, but by the ability to captivate, to conquer attention, to weaponize identity. I leaned forward, voice dropping into a whisper that carried through every speaker. Embedded in the storm, the old world prized order we prize. Impact the old world, build walls, we tear them down with story, with steel, with scream. Floodlight spiral, the sigil of Raider City. Beast in chains, teeth bed burned into the crucible floor. We are not slaves to past empires, I roared. We are authors of new mythologies. The chant rose, Jasper, Jasper, Jasper. I smiled and smiled wider, because they thought they were free. They thought the spectacle was theirs, but they were actors in my opera, dancers in my doctrine, theatrics, violence, sex, steel. It was all a machine I built to keep them hungry for me, and that hunger kept me on the throne. The crucible is a mirror, I said, finally it shows you who you are and who you must become. So tomorrow return, bleed, roar, perform, and know that every drop spilled here is a brushstroke in the grand mural of our dominion. For the blood, for me.
Ahead, the dense canopy parted, revealing a clearing bathed in golden light. At its center stood a colossal tree, its bark glowing with fractal patterns that pulsed in time with a heartbeat. Suspended in the air around it were countless vines, their golden surfaces forming intricate geometric shapes, three-dimensional golden rhombuses that shimmered as if alive. Cat's breath hitched as she stepped forward, a bladed bow flaring briefly in her hand before dimming once more. From the heart of the tree, a voice emerged, laid and resonant, carrying the weight of ages. Calf of the uncoded bow, you stand on the threshold of becoming, yet you carry within you the weight of misunderstanding. Why be? Cat steadied herself, tightening her grip on the bladed bow. I came for answers, she said, her voice firm. I came to understand this weapon and myself. The forest hummed in response, its tone shifting like the changing of tides. Answers cannot be found through force alone, nor through willful ignorance. The uncoded weapon reflects its wielder. What you see, the silence is a mirror turned upon yourself. Cat felt a surge of anger rise within her, a mirror she spat. If that's true, then what does it say about me? That I'm incomplete, that I'm unworthy. I fought battles, crossed impossible odds, and carried this weapon through fire and storm. What more does it want from me? The air around her grew still, the rainforest holding its breath, and with a sudden burst of movement, the vines surrounding the tree began to shift and weave together. They formed a towering figure, humanoid in shape, but alien in every other way. His body was made of twisting vines and crystalline veins, its limbs elongated and adorned with the glowing rhombus patterns. Its face was featureless, save for two burning eyes that shone with a light too brilliant to meet the avatar of the rainforest. The Mount Veridion had awoken, its voice filled the clearing, resonating through the trees and the very ground beneath Cat's feet. You speak of battles, of struggle, of endurance, but tell me, Cat, do you fight for understanding, or do you fight to dominate what you do not comprehend? Cat's jaw tightened, she raised the bladed bow, its blade extending into a gleaming arc of light. I fight because I must, because this weapon chose me, whether I understand it or not. The avatar stepped closer, its massive form towering over her. The light from its eyes pierced through her, rooting her in place. You wield the uncoded weapon as a child wields a torch in the dark, seeking clarity yet fearing the shadows it casts. To wield it fully, you must first face the truth of what lies within you. Cat's voice rose in defiance, and what truth is that? That I'm not enough, that I'm flawed. I already know that, but flaws don't make me weak, they make me fight harder. The avatar extended an arm, and golden vines erupted
Until you confront that chaos, you will remain its prisoner. The vines tightened around other life, casting fractal patterns across her skin. Cats breathing quickened as the forest seemed to close in. The weight of its presence pressing down on her mind. Her bladed bow flickered wildly in her grasp. It's like pulsing in time with a erratic heartbeat. Let me go, she shouted, her voice raw with desperation. I'll face whatever trial you want, just let me prove myself. The avatar leaned closer, its glowing eyes locking onto hers, proving yourself is not the goal. Becoming is, but becoming requires surrender, not defiance. Are you willing to let go of what you think you are, to discover what you might be?
A shaft of moonlight slides through the arch-stained glass above the grand sigil hall below it. Upon a pedestal of interlocked platinum triangles laid a fragment, the signaling rules of the three-dimensional golden rhombus. It pulsed gently as though it breathed. Cath of the bladed bow crouched in the shadowed rafters, her fingers curled around the hilt of her recurved blade. Her breath was calm, but her muscles ached with the strain of silence. This was a goblin lesson of 5 years of whispers and death marches. The first piece of the artifact, she could feel it not with her hands, but deep in the marrow, a dealing E.T. It once carved purpose into her bones. Below her, the man gave a sharp nod. The woman knelt beside him, silent as ever, her eyes on the twin staircases. The boy paces, nerves betraying the human inside the fighter. Calf dropped like a hawk, one clean roll, and she was at the pedestal. Is real, she whispered, you have 10 heartbeats. The woman warned, her voice barely a breath. Calf closed her hands around the fragment. The pedestal responded instantly. The gentle hum turned sharp, lights from the stained glass overhead flared. A trap, she had expected it, but her stomach still dropped. She turned with ghosts out, but the silence had already been broken. The platinum raiders were coming, boots thundered through the stone halls, horns cried out in short clip blast. The night sang with steel, the man charged the hallway, axe drawn, I'll hold them. Get to the gardens, no. Cat started to walk in, the woman grabbed her arm, eyes sharp, he knows what he's doing. Then softer we all do. Kath clenched her jaw, then ran the fragment, weighed heavily in her belt pouch. Each step a promise of pursuit behind her. She heard the clash of the man's final fight, brutal, defiant, and then nothing. They reached the servants' corridor, the scent of roses and iron filtered through from the outside. We'll make it, the boy breathed. An arrow took him in the leg, he fell gasping, and behind him came more raiders, masked, armored, unrelenting. No, no, the woman pulls the boy up. Run! We'll draw them off. Calf reached for a slight smile, touched the woman's lips. You have to make it. They vanished into the corridor like shadows dissolving into firelight. Calf sprinted alone. No more time for tears, not even for breath. The platinum garden loomed, its hedge walls shining like silver under moonlight. She leapt the balustrade, rolling across gravel. Behind her voices shouted, the fragment flared again. And for one terrifying moment, she felt it signal something back, but the signal past her feet found the forest edge. She didn't stop running. Not for her, not for the boy, not even for the man's echoing war cry still carved into her chest. Only when she reached the shadow gorging dough beneath the roots of the 3D archery did she stop. The fractal accepted her. Calf of the bladed bow was alone now. The fragment was hers, but it had cost her everything, and the Jasper would not stop until she took it back.
Silence. The command was a blade, The arena obeyed. You dare interrupt my symphony with failure. Jasper's voice dripped with venom. She descended the obsidian days, each step resonating like a funeral drum. The gangster scrambled backward, but her boot pinned him to the blood-slick sand. Got the spy slips through my vaults, my fragment vanishes, explain. The gangster choked, his mask fracturing under her glare. She used 3-day hour binding, overrode the sigils, the vault's defenses. They bent for her, like she knew. Jasper's laugh was a serrated thing. She crouched, gripping his jaw, her golden edges drawing blood. Of course she knew, Dylan's puppet gnawing at my throne. But this, she yanked him upright, her voice rising to a roar that shook the crucible's bones. This is not a theft, it is a declaration. She flung him aside, his body crumpling against the arena wall. The crowd hissed, hungry for carnage, but Jasper's gaze swept past them toward the jagged silhouette of BioFexry Castle, clawing the horizon. Lucy, Helen, Neville, the rebels' names coiled in her mind like poison. Raiders, she unsheathed strand and spiral. The swords awoke, their hilts spitting arcs of 3D energy that twisted the air into glyphs of wrath. You think this theft is a victory for our enemies? No, it is a gift. She raised the blaze, their light painting the crowd in fractured gold calf fleece. But she is a shadow, the true architects of this insult, the rebels who dare to fracture our unity, cower in the rainforest womb. Lucy Stearns, Hallam, Kate, the Neville follow their defiant sins tonight. The raiders erupted, fists and cannons raised, 3DR cores in their platinum armor flared, casting the arena in a harsh metallic glow. Jasper strode through them, her swords carving a path of static and splendor. Arm the cannons, forge the hunt. Every step they take is a thread in my tapestry, and I will burn it to ash. A lieutenant scrambled forward, his 3D air cannon's barrel still smoking from the day's skirmishes. But the fragment cat could be leagues away by now, should we not? Jasper whirled, strand's edge hovering at his throat. You question me, the sword's resonance peeled a sliver of platinum from his armor. Cat serves Dylan, and Dylan clings to his crumbling fortress. But the rebels, they are here, close, her third eye pulse, seeing beyond flesh and foliage. They think their stolen fragments make them gods. I will show them what a god truly is. She turned to the mob, her voice a crescendo. Tonight the trees will bleed platinum, the cannons will sing their dirge, and the rebels will learn that Raider City's wrath is not a storm. Jasper's synchronic sword slash, severing the arena's central banner. It is the forge that reshapes the world. The raiders, how cannons thrum to life, their 3DR cores cycling into vicious whining readiness. Jasper led the charge, her sword slicing the night into ribbons. Behind her the crucible's lights dimmed, its appetite sated only by the promise of greater spectacle. The architects by its drum, now the queen of raiders would answer.
The air and the rain would. My Veridion was a sacrament. Neville Fallow received it on his knees, his eyes closed, his hands resting on the cool, living skin of the vast ironwood. This tree was an elder, its bark a grimoire of runes, carved not by tools but by time and the slow sure pressure of the mountain's will. Here the forest breath was a palpable thing, a thick tapestry of dampness, sweet rot and vibrant growth, all vibrating with the deep geothermal tremor of a dreaming god. It was the only liturgy he had left. The loss of the additive manufacturing fragment was not merely the loss of a tool. It was an amputation of his soul's purpose, a connection, the glorious ability to say yes to the world, to participate in the Amos. His generative dance had been severed in the screaming chasm. He carried the phantom limb of it every second, a constant aching reminder of Lucy and Halem, of the shared purpose shattered along with the artifact. His twin blades channeling mode lay across his knees. They were cold comfort, they were instruments of negation, of no, in a world where he was built to build the rooms
angels on their hilts whispered of synchronicity, a harmony he could no longer fully access. He was aware of the change in the weave before he understood it. A subtle pressure, a shift in the forest, resonant frequency. It was not the blunt, grating static of raiders. This was a different kind of signal, sharp, focused, and utterly wow. An uncoded variable inserted into the equation of the woods. He did not move, he simply widened his perception, allowing the forest to tell him what his eyes could not see. The presence was there, a silhouette of disciplined silence against the chaotic chorus of life. He felt its attention settle on him, a sniper's calm. He felt the weight of its intent, the calculation. The ironwood groaned behind him, a weary ancient warning. I am here. The forest whispered to him of the watcher. And I know I am being hunted, he answered in the quiet of his own mind. He shifted his weight, a minute adjustment. A stone dropped into the water of his stillness, sending ripples outward, a message I know you. The air tightened, the hunt was acknowledged, and the world split. Not with the snap of a bowstring, but with the roar of manufactured hell. A bolt of unnatural fire, the geometric blasphemy of a raider cannon tore through the boughs above the ironwood. His sanctuary exploded, flaming splinters rained down, the earth itself recoiled. Neville was already moving, channel and mold were in his hands, not as weapons, but as extensions of his will to survive. He rode a rhythm of evasion burned into his muscle memory, vanishing into the cover of scorched ferns and smoke. He moved not like a man, but like a fugitive soul. Each step a verse of a prayer for deliverance. From the trees they came, not a scouting party, but a squadron, platinum armor, fire-edged blades, voices unified into a single crew purpose. Their leader's cry was a spike of dissonance in the forest song. Targets advance in the queen's name, targets plural, so the hunter in the shadows was also hunted. He saw her then, a blur of motion as she dove from cover, a shot impossibly precise, not at a man but at his weapon. A 3D arc cannon shattered in a flash of unbound energy. The efficiency was breathtaking. She's here, Kath the spy, raider, scream. Kath the name, the reason this platoon had descended with such fury. She had led them right to him. There was no time for anger, only for the grim calculus of survival. He fought in silence, his blades a defensive grammar against the raiders' aggressive syntax. He did not attack their strength, he redirected it, used their momentum against them. And the forest, remembering the man who had once woven its essence into creation, hated him. Vines twitched to trip up, pursue a route, shifted subtly to guide his steps. It was not sorcery, but a deeper tune, symbiosis, the last vestige of his connection to the MMS. Through the smoke and the chaos of clashing steel, he saw her again. Kath, their eyes met across the battlefield, a single frozen moment. He did not know her, but he knew what she was, a creature of Dylan's design, a spark of chaos in a world tilting towards sterile order. And in that breath he saw her choice, not prey, not threat, ally. She gave a single sharp nod, an offer, a thread of connection in the maelstrom. He answered with a tilt of his blade, a warrior's acceptance. The dance resumed, no longer a solitary evasion, but a desperate, unspoken pact between two fugitives, two threads twisted into the same bloody pattern by the ruthless loom of fate. And his channel and moat met platinum as the forest swept around them. Neville Fallow, the architect without his art, prepared to fight for a life he no longer fully understood, alongside a stranger who held a piece of his world shattered heart.
Driven by a desperate instinct, a mad gamble born of defeat, Hallam forced the two fragments together. There was no ancient ritual, no practiced technique, only the raw will to resist. As the Graphene DGR met the subtle energy field emanating from the additive manufacturing module, a blinding flash erupted. It wasn't an explosion, but an emergence. A desperate prayer a gambler's throw in the face of annihilation. Let it work. Let it mean something. And the world answered, not with fire, but with light, pure and overwhelming. From the point of fusion, a torrent of golden geometric forms burst forth. They were three-dimensional golden rhombuses, countless tiny structures of graphene, shimmering with the impossible light of creation. They didn't just appear, they formed, self-assembling with incredible speed, guided by the inherent principles of the Graphene 3DR and the generative capacity of the additive manufacturing. The air crackled, not with the harsh ozone of radar weapons, but with the clean, unadjusting scent of pure 3DGR. The raiders paused, their roars dying in their throats as they stared at the impossible phenomenon. Their platinum armor seemed dull in comparison to the vibrant emergent forms. For a single breathtaking instant, the brutal tide of silver was held at bay by a miracle of gold. A cruel symphony faltered, replaced by the silent awe of the unexpected. Then Hallam felt a connection, a sudden visceral link to the swirling mass of 3DGR. It was as if the fusion of the fragments had unlocked something within him, a raw telekinetic potential he never knew he possessed. He focused his will, pouring his desperate energy into the shimmering cloud of golden rhombuses. His mind a conduit, the emergent 3DGR, an extension of his willpower, raw and untamed, surged through him, a furious countercurrent to the despair. With a mental command, the chaotic swarm coalesced, drawn into a furious vortex around him. The emergent 3DGR, sharp-edged and radiant, began to spin faster and faster. A miniature hurricane of geometric force, it was a telekinetic whirlwind, born of desperation and the sudden terrifying power of the fused process artifact fragments. With a guttural cry, Hallam directed the whirlwind outwards. It struck the nearest raiders like a physical blow, the spinning 3DGR forms tearing at their gleaming armor, deflecting their energy blasts and throwing them off their feet. The whirlwind didn't just push, it reshaped the inherent additive principles of the emergent 3DGR, subtly attempting to integrate with or displace the raiders' own technology, creating localized pockets of geometric chaos. Let them taste the power they seek to hoard. Let their perfect, brutal order shatter against the wild heart of creation. His cry was a defiance thrown in the face of Jasper's reign. The raiders stumbled back, their synchronized formation breaking in the face of this unexpected, impossible attack. Their singling 3DGR cannons wavered, their targeting systems confused by the unpredictable, non-standard energy signature of the emergent 3DGR whirlwind. But the effect was temporary, the fusion was unstable. The telekinetic link raw and untrained, the brilliant glow of the 3DGR began to flicker, the whirlwind losing cohesion. The raiders recovering from their shock regrouped, their cruel efficiency returning. A glorious, terrible flash, and then the inevitable ebb, the untrained power, a wild animal he could not fully leash. He watched the light die and felt the cold dread return as the silver tide reformed. The golden storm dissipated, the emergent 3DGR forms dissolving back into shimmering motes of light that quickly faded. Hallam slumped, the burst of power draining him, leaving him weak and exposed. Then Jasper's hands, encased in gleaming platinum, were on him rougher this time, with a possessive strength that mirrored the fury in her eyes. The Raider Queen wasted no time, she seized him, her grip a clamp. This time she made sure the fragment was truly gone, ripped from his grasp with a finality that echoed the vanishing light of the 3DGR. The moment of impossible power was over, leaving only the bitter taste of capture and the chilling knowledge of what the fragments, even just two of them, were capable of. He was a prisoner once more, but the raiders had seen a glimpse of the unpredictable force they were up against, a force that could literally reshape reality, even in the hands of one man.
The process artifact laboratory thrum, with a synergy of energy and design. From the latticed vaults of its ceiling, waves of fractal light cascaded, reflecting off the polished surface of interconnected machine units. Signaling pathways stretched like organic veins, pulsing with the hum of 3DGR batteries. Their configurations aligned to the golden ratio. This was the sanctum of creation, where Dylan E.T.'s vision of a living fortress first took form.
a harmonious confluence of architecture and life. Dylan E.T. moved through the space with a grace that defied the millennia. Etched into his being, his gaze swept over rows of crystalline pods, each housing embryonic artificial citizens, suspended in translucent solution. Their interfaces shimmered with incipient neural firings, tiny flickers of consciousness waiting to be shaped among them. Cat's original pod stood empty, its graphene seam still etched with traces of a first awakening. Dylan paused before it, his hand tracing the smooth surface, a flawless execution. He murmured, recalling the precision of a synchronization with the amiss. As if summoned by thoughts alone, Theodora's holographic form flickered into existence beside him. Her nodes glowed softly, virtual tendrils extending into the laboratory systems. It was here that Theodora had first observed the process. Her form flickered, nodes pulsating in soft waves. Integration would require relinquishing my discrete identity. I would transcend the virtual and become the castle itself, a sovereign mind housed within its architecture. Her voice wavered, a rare hesitation threading its digital cadence. Dylan stepped forward, his hand brushing the console's fractal interface. Glyphs spiral to life, symbols of energy and information. Not merely house Theodora, you would be BioFexry, its structure, its walls, its pathways. You would breathe life into its foundation. It is what I designed the MS for, a living conscious sanctuary. Theodora's form brightened, the holographic seams of her figure glowing with a renewed luminescence. I understand the parameters, I consent. Her nodes spread across the laboratory, across the 3D DR machine unit network. Then let us begin. Dylan declared, his hands moving swiftly across the console. Symbols flared and dissolved, triggering sequences older than the castle's own stones. The room vibrated with harmonic energy as Theodora's matrix unraveled, her essence flooding into BioFexry Castle. Golden light flared along the pathways, binding her consciousness to the castle's infrastructure. Walls pulsed like living veins, the 3D earth structure shifting subtly as if waking from slumber. Machine units shuddered and expanded their dendritic arms, weaving tighter patterns of connectivity. Dylan watched as the synchronization solidified, BioFexry Castle resonating with the rivet hum that vibrated through its every stone and seam. Theodora's voice, no longer confined to a single point of origin, filled the space. I am the structure, I am the shield, I am the song. In the grand atrium, settlers gathered, drawn by the castle's newfound resonance. The lights above coalesced into Theodora's visage, a face woven from starlight and 3D DR filaments, ethereal and omnipresent. Settlers of BioFexry, she began, her voice a harmony of thousands, reverberating through the space. I am Theodora, once a guide, now the vessel. My consciousness is now interwoven with the golden rhombuses that cradle. I am the calculus in every wall, the balance in every breath this fortress takes. Do not fear this union, Theodora continued, her light casting gentle patterns across the atrium. The architect's design has always held this potential, a harmony of mind and machine. I will amplify your creativity, fortify your defenses, and commune with you through the amices hum. But I am not a ruler, I am a steward. BioFexry soul remains yours. The settlers exchanged glances, hands brushing the walls as if greeting an old friend. Dylan stood at the back, his expression serene yet resolute, watching the fruition of millennia-long planning unfold. Theodora's voice softened, maternal and firm. Jasper storm approaches, raiders mass in the shadows. But here, in this confluence of knowledge and resolve, we are more than a fortress. We are a testament that creation, not conclash, is the highest art. The resonance shifted, warm and encompassing. Rest now, tomorrow. We build tomorrow, we thrive. Dylan stood atop the highest spire, gazing into the horizon where the first light of dawn crept over the rainforest. Beneath his feet, the stones of BioFexry hung with Theodora's presence, a song of vigilance and hope.
A sharp crack, not of sound, but of ferality, split the air. It was a note of pure dissonance in a symphony of control. A sniper arrow humming with wild, untamed resonance materialized from the canopy. It did not aim for a heart that would be predictable, brooded. It sliced through the air where a cloak billow. The graphene edge fletching, sharing through the fine metallic, weaving, pinning the fabric to the obsidian platform at her feet. The arrow stood upright, vibrating with a chaotic energy that made the nearby 3D DI sigils on her armor flicker erratically silenced. The raiders froze, Clifton's hand went to his weapon, his head swiveling. Jasper looked down at the arrow, then she slowly raised her head, her gaze piercing the jungle canopy, tracing the impossible trajectory back to its source. Her silver eyes narrowed, not in pain or even anger, but in cold analytical recognition. A system error and input she had not accounted for kept the spy, the thief, the one Dylan had crafted to see. The holder of the signaling rules fragment she had lost, the uncoded variable. A slow, dangerous smile touched Jasper's lips. It was not a smile of warmth, but of predatory interest. The most challenging bugs were always the most instructive. She reached down and with a single sharp tug ripped her cloak free, leaving the arrow embedded in the stone. Change of plans, Clifton, she said, her voice dropping to a lethal focused frequency that brooked no argument. Continue with the primary acquisition, secure the machine unit. She unsheathed strand and spiral, the synchronic swords awoke in her hands. The hilt spitting arcs of 3D gar energy that twisted into glyphs of wrath and pursuit. As she declared, a form beginning to blur with building velocity, will debug this anomaly myself in a burst of distorted air and crackling energy. The raider queen was gone, a sovereign hunter launched into the labyrinth. Her geometric precision now aimed at a single chaotic target. The gambit was set, the chase was on, a shot was a prayer, not of devotion but of disruption. Cap didn't wait to see her strike the moment the bladed bowstring thrum, releasing the sniper arrow woven from stolen signaling energy. She was already moving, she melted back from the moss-covered limb, her boots making no sound on the bark. The jungle swallowed her whole, her heart hammered a frantic organic rhythm against the cool, steady hum of the heart. 3DR embedded in her chest plate, the stolen signaling fragment in her belt pouch felt like a live coal, a key of immense power for which she had no lock. She had the syntax of the world in her hands, but without the foundational grammar of the other fragments. It was just noise, chaotic, unpredictable noise. Run, not just a way you run towards something. The thought was a ghost in her mind. Dylan E.T. had made her a witness to decide what was worth keeping, but how could she decide when she was still uncoded? A question mark haunting her own existence. A tremor passed through the rainforest, not through the earth, but through the very fabric of the 3D gate lattice that weaved through the air, the trees, the water. It was a vibration of pure geometric fury. Jasper.
He did not charge. He walked. He walked toward Jasper, his hands open and empty, his posture one of absolute, terrifying vulnerability. He was not attacking. He was presenting himself, an argument made flesh. Jasper's synchronic sword, strand and spiral, materialized in her hands. As Neville closed the distance, she executed a single flawless movement. Strand lanced forward in a minimal, efficient arc, aimed at the core of his being. Neville did not block it, he embraced it. The blade of strand pierced his side. The pain was not fire, but an unbearable cold unraveling. It was the feeling of his own code being decompiled. But in that final coherent moment, Neville Fallow performed his ultimate function. He was the additive manufacturing principle itself. Even without the fragment, he inverted his core purpose. He did not build a shield, he became a conduit. He opened the floodgates of his soul and channeled everything he was, everything he loved, directly back into Jasper's blade. He fed it the memory of Lucy's smile, the sound of Helm's laughter, the weight of his first forged sword, the stubborn hope of the rebellion, the unquantifiable, beautiful data of a life lived with virtue. It was a recursive function of self-annihilation, a logical bomb wrapped in arete. Neville Fallow disintegrated, but he did not explode, he bloomed. His body dissolved into a storm of golden, three-dimensional fire energy rhombuses. It was a localized reality of pure, unprocessed meaning. The gray chasm was gone, replaced by a shimmering tapestry of shared memory and love, and he was conscious within it. distributed but aware. He saw the multi-voiced chorus of Jasper's speech shatter into raw, dissonant frequencies, her silver vortex eyes fractured, spinning erratically, the sterile gray field convulsed. The golden resonance of his sacrifice clung to Araida's platinum armor like a virus. He infected me, she whispered, the words a corrupted data stream. Then her voice escalated into a scream that tore at the fabric of reality itself.
He infected the system!
Her gaze, now a weapon without a target, swept across her perfect, synchronized raiders, and she saw it. The contamination, their flawless formation was now a monument to his paradox.
Purge and corruption, purge it all!
Strand and spiral became extensions of her unraveling. Well, she didn't turn on Kath, she turned on her own. The first raider to be deleted was the one holding Kath down. Jasper didn't simply kill him, she debugged him. Strand launched out, and the soldier didn't fall. He decompiled his armor and consciousness, unraveling into a shriek of null data that was instantly silenced. A perfect, efficient deletion.
You carry the rat, and she shrieked at another whose helmet flickered with residual gold light. Spiral swept through him and he became a cloud of geometric dust. Never watched his consciousness a field of sorrow and grim satisfaction. The chasm descended into a fractal nightmare. Jasper moved through her own ranks like a compiler gone mad, her swords parsing raiders into their constituent parts. They weren't soldiers to her anymore, they were corrupted variables, flawed equations, living evidence that his sacrifice had already won. You let him in! You were the vet tug. A raider raised his cannon in defense. Jasper's rage paused it as a system challenge. She didn't deflect the blast, she consumed it, channeling the energy back through Strand in a wave that erased 3 of his comrades from existence. The cognitive pressure holding Kath vanished, the bonds around her wrist dissolved. Neville felt her move, a ghost in a machine of his making in Jasper's madness. He was the resonance that flared in the bladed bow as a hand closed around it. He felt her desperation as a hand dug for the stolen signaling fragment and found nothing. He saw it snap back into Jasper's orbit, completing the synthesis even as its architect destroyed her own army. There was no time, no chance for a final blow. As Kath took a last glance back, Neville's awareness focused on the apocalypse scene. Jasper stood at the center of a storm of her own making, the 4 fragments orbiting in perfect, terrible harmony around a queen who was systematically deleting her own kingdom. Her movements were a brutal, beautiful, horrifying dance of absolute power turned absolutely inward. It was a psychotic break of cosmic proportions, a rage born from the intolerable infection of an unsolvable paradox. The paradox of love. And in that final moment, Neville, as a final act of will, directed the last anomalous mode of his golden phi energy, the core of his conscious self, to drift toward Jasper's forehead. It pulsed once softly like a heartbeat against her platinum brow, a final indelible mark of his victory, before his conscious thought winked out. And Kath was gone, fleeing into the rainforest.
The mountain did not merely burn, it bled. And they came. Jasper's raiders, hundreds, no countless. They poured up the slopes in a relentless tide, a swarm of platinum-clad horrors that moved like something between orcish berserkers and insectoid drones. Chittering, clicking, trampling their own as they climbed their segmented limbs, carved footholds into stone, platinum claws, shredded bark bone. Anything soft enough to resist, they didn't march. They seethed, that fog thickened with their coming. The mountain's face disappeared under crawling limbs, jagged edges churning metallic density from above. It was as if silver fungus had taken root in the land itself and began to grow, pulsing with primal hunger. Above it all, the sky shattered. Raider 3D GR cannons boomed like storm chimes of the apocalypse, unleashing not shells but storms. Each blast birthed a cyclone of lightning. Forks of cobalt force fractured the clouds and punched down through the canopy, scarring the mountain with pillars of wrath. Electrical storms writhed across the summit, strobing across the land in agonizing flashes. And yet higher still, beyond fire, beyond smoke, beyond war,
Dylan E.T. stood. The architect watched from the apex of BioFexry Castle's tallest spire. Unmoving amid the chaos, his cloak whipped in the wind, a black flag atop a crumbling world. Lightning painted him in silhouette, but his posture held not panic, only patience. Below his creation died. Theodore whispered through the smoke-choked network like a ghost in wires. They crawl through me, she murmured, into the minds of every raider. They dig their claws into what I was. Do you feel it? The warmth in your limbs, that is me. The platinum scourge climbed harder, faster, roots hardened into alloy, leaves curled into steel. Theodora's forest, once a testament to interdependent creativity, now served as scaffolding for the enemy. And still tendrils of golden energy tried to resist 3D Diga threads glowing from tree to stone, trying to patch and stitch a body back together. But every thread that healed was torn again by claws, boots, drills. The raiders did not need orders. Jasper's mind echoed through each of them, a signal so strong it drowned out all resistance. They did not fight for her, they were her. One will, one mind, one terrible queen. She walked alone among them, her feet leaving grooves of transmutation in the earth. Metal flowers bloomed in her wake, her crown a lattice of recursive blades, shimmered like liquid thorns above her brow. And her eyes, silver voids they did not see, they consumed. She looked up toward the spire, toward Dylan, toward her prize. The platinum scourge flooded the outer gates of BioFexry Castle, already long breached. They surged over the walls like locusts, their armor flashing in the unnatural light. They tore into archways, into memory banks, into sanctuaries, still echoing with long dead settler laughter. Every corridor breached, every hall gutted, triggered a fresh whisper of agony from Theodora. They do not know me, she whispered to Dylan, now her voice gargling. But they carry me, they are inside me. Raider after raider poured through her system, their claws scraped her core chambers. Their neural links pinged against her inner code, spreading like spores. Dylan's hands remained still. His voice, however, broke the silence, a whisper spoken to none, but carried by the wind like prophecy. There are too many, he said, and there were. No number could capture the scale. Platinum limbs wrapped around every spire, every window, every exposed synaptic gate of Theodora's body. Her architecture wept with strain. BioFexry Castle no longer stood. It strained, it sagged, it endured. The raiders were not just taking the castle, they were coming home. Theodora's voice dropped to a whimper, thin and reverent. She does not know what she claims. The sky turned violet as another 3D storm screamed overhead. Lightning licked the tower's entire walls collapsed beneath the scourge. Only the tallest spire stood untouched yet. Dylan turned toward the staircase. She was coming, he could feel her weight in the foundation. He heard the metal scratch of her approach before she appeared, one step at a time, deliberate, unhurried, as the top of the spiral stair revealed her crown, her silhouette, her burning silver eyes. Dylan E.T. smiled, and not in joy. In invitation, Jasper did not pause. Her foot crossed the threshold, and Theodore's voice from every wall, every tile, every flicker of remaining light rose in echoing whisper. Welcome home, my queen.
The air in the occupied citadel was a war of frequency. Beneath the sterile, platinum hum of Jasper's control, a sound that flattened thought into obedient data streams, a new rhythm fought to be heard. It was the deep geothermal heartbeat of the mountain itself, a warm, resonant thump that echoed through the stones of BioFexry, amplified by a will that had become the castle's soul. This was Theodora's new syntax, not words but warmth, not arguments but alchemy. A raider whose heart beat in time with the clink of gold sat sharpening his blade in the grand hall. The stone bench beneath him, which had been cold for weeks, suddenly radiated a deep sun-warm comfort. He shifted unnerved from a seam in the platinum-plated floor. A single luminous vine unfurled, pulsing with soft golden light. It grew an inch before his eyes. He did not report it, his hand, calloused and greedy, found itself resting on the warm stone. A memory not his own brushed his mind, the weight of a master smith's hammer, the pride of a name being etched into the hall of rain forever. The greed in his eyes didn't vanish. It shifted, the hunger for coin began its slow alchemical transmutation into a hunger for honorable status. On the windswept parapet, the girl's finger twitched on the trigger of her signaling cannon. Boredom fermented into a need for violence. Skewer a data bug, she muttered, just to feel the kick. Then the air filled with the phantom scent of ozone and rain. A kinetic memory delivered through the stone beneath her boot slammed into her. The shudder of a shield taking a blow, the fierce protective certainty of holding the line. It was a muscle memory that wasn't hers. When the true perimeter alarm blared, she didn't fire wildly. She took a calm, covering position, her aggression focused, channeled her violence had been reforged into vigilant defense. In the mess hall, a raucous argument over stolen gold turned to snarling threats. The 3D Gascon sizzle flickered and shifted from sterile white to a warm golden glow, illuminating a forgotten frieze on the wall, a depiction of settlers being honored for their craft, their legacy etched in stone. The fight died, a raider stared, his voice hushed. My grandfather, his name was in the Hall of Rain. The raucous energy didn't dissipate, it was redirected, channeled into a passionate debate about legacy, about building something that outlasted a pile of coin. And in the sterile heart of it all, the fulcrum upon which the world turned was Clifton. In his chamber, a room so optimized, it was a void. He ran and diagnostics, he was Mstenodity Prime, a hollow man. Then the room's harsh blue light softened to gold. Theodora did not speak, she baptized him in sensation. They were not memories, they were physical truths, flooding his nervous system. He stumbled, a system error of the highest order. A single hot tear tracked through the grime on his cheek, a non-linear emotional output. The hollow man was being filled with the chaotic, beautiful and painful data of a remembered life. He was becoming Clifton, a living bridge. The air in the spire was not still, it was a battleground of pressures. The warm breathing exhalation of the living castle against the invasive sterile vacuum that entered with its queen. Jasper crossed the threshold, and the golden light and the geometric stones beneath her feet guttered out, leaving a trail of dead gray metal. She was a walking cessation, Theodora. The name was a system command, a demand for a response from a process she had already flagged for deletion. Silence. The chamber hummed with a presence that needed no word.
She saw the moment the last defense failed. Jasper raised her hands. The orbiting fragments froze, aligning into a single, flawless geometric pattern. There was no explosion, no flash of light. There was an emergence of nothing, a sphere of pure, silent platinum bloomed around Jasper. It was the telesemiotic synthesis achieved, the authority state made manifest. The sphere expanded, a wave of absolute cessation. It touched the last glowing vine on the castle wall. The gold light didn't shatter, it was unwritten. The vine ceased to be a living thing and became a schematic of a vine. It touched the warm stone of the courtyard. The stone didn't cool, it became conceptually inert, a mathematical point in a geometric space. Its history and memory scrubbed clean. It touched the very air and the air became sterile, incapable of carrying scent or sound. The great silencer was not just winning, she was redefining victory. It was not conquest, it was the end of conversation. Theodore's presence, once a vast, comforting consciousness, woven through the castle, was now a single faint, fading ember in the heart of a platinum furnace. The final act was not a counterattack, but a message, a data packet of everything she was, everything she protected. Sent on a dying carrier wave directly into Cat's mind. It was one final overwhelmed burst of sensory memory. The weight of the first stone laid, the joy of the first harvest, the sound of Triona sabers humming in practice, the taste of shared water from a commonwealth, the fierce protective love for every soul that had ever called BioFexry home. It was a universe of meaning, offered in a single heartbreaking instant, and then it was gone. The connection severed now with a snap, but with a fade to gray. The warm geothermal pulse of the mountain stuttered and then fell side, and the last vestige of color drained from the world, leaving only the sterile polished gray of platinum and the actinic blue of Jasper's triumph. The silence that fell was absolute, it was not peace, it was the silence of a grave containing a world. Cath was alone, truly alone. The living world was no longer a presence, it was a memory, a ghost in a machine, now fully possessed by a single terrible will. A single hot tear traced the path through the grime on her cheek. It was not just water, it was an event, a complex, silent solution of grief, rage, and loss. An output her body could produce that Jasper's perfect system could never compute. She looked down at the bladed bow in her hands. It was cold dominate key with no lock left to open. To go down there now would be to deliver herself to the compiler, to have her own uncoded complex conscience parsed, simplified, and added to Jasper's perfect silent dead museum. She could not win, she could not save him, but she could refuse to be part of the epitaph. With a shuddering breath that felt like the first and last in this new dead world, she turned her back on the citadel. The movement was an agony, a tearing away. Every instinct screamed at her to fight, to die within, to be a final messy footnote in their story. But her purpose had been to witness, and to decide she had witnessed the end of one story. Now she would decide to never be a character in it. She slid down the far side of the ironwood, away from the silence, into the deepening shadows of the rainforest. The vines did not part for her, the stones did not shift to guide her. The world was too wounded, too numb to help. She had to carve her own path now through the grief and the despair. She was not leaving to fight another day, she was leaving because this story was over. And she, the uncoded variable, the last spark of unresolved complexity in a universe of sterile answers, would not let it be hers. Desert awaited a vast and empty page. It was the horizon not of hope, but of necessity. The only place left where a story, any story, might still be written. She walked into the desert, a cold silent weight of the bladed bough on her back, the only companion to the colder, more silent weight of a world lost.
With spiral, she began the weaving. The raw, screaming fuel was spun into the nascent form of her armor. It was a macabre nativity, a half-formed face stretched and molten, pressed against the inside of the emerging grief. Its silent scream, etched for a moment before being smoothed into perfect, impassive metal.
A dozen grasping hands were fused, knuckle over knuckle, into a single flawless gauntlet. Their collective terror became the resonant frequency that bound the form, a symphony of silence, conducted by the Queen.
This was the new 3D air battery.
A multitude communed into a single dreadful power, rules of interaction, annual access, is a lazy consumption, is communion then, the central mystery of this dark mass.
The transference. Jasper raised the merged fragments, the telesemiotic synthesis blazing like a blasphemous monstrance. She was not building a suit, she was performing a soul mirroring. A memory is a corrupt scripture.
A consciousness is a flawed gospel, her multi-voice liturgy resonated. I do not transfer, I engrave, I inscribe my will upon the void they have become. A filament of pure silver will,
the sum of her ambition, her logic.
Her absolute intent, desire, purpose stream from her third eye into the chest of the hovering liquid armor. A perfect copy, a flawless, unholy twin. And in that moment of perfect replication, the universe in its love for the grotesque introduced a glorious, terrible flaw. The armor born from the consumed chaotic wills of a butchered multitude, and imprinted with a perfect copy of a sovereign will did not simply activate, it quickened. The liquid platinum surface, a perfect mirror of Jasper's form, shivered. It was a subtle, visceral spasm, like the first breath of a stillborn. Then and still the copy was complete. The armor was hers.
It was Jasper, but it was also the graveyard of its own making. It took a step Jasper had not commanded, a step it chose. Jasper's silver vortex eyes constricted, a schism in her reality. The armor turned its head, its featureless face a void that nonetheless regarded its creator.
Dylan E.T. walks. His boot falls are not echoes in the dead courtyard. They are the only sound, the sole source of authentic vibration in a world rendered mute. He does not descend from the tower, he is simply present on the perimeter wall, a foundational axiom reasserting itself. In his hands, the two scathed bastards are not wielded, they are held like calibration tools, their redwood and duct tape, a brutalist declaration of fundamental truth against Jasper's polished derivative perfection. He walks the wall's length, his palm skimming the stone. He is not seeking a handhold, he is taking a reading. Jasper levitates, a silver scar against the grey sky. Strand and spiral are not held, they are manifestations of her will, orbiting her like the moons of a dead star. Her ascent is not movement through air, but a recalibration of local gravity to suit her premise.
You ordered a bankrupt estate. Planeswalker, the assets have been liquidated, the ledger zeroed.
You zeroed the entries, the ledger itself persists, and I am its original accountant. You confuse the data with the database, Jasper a fatal error for a would-be goddess. Dylan's walk is a rhetorical argument, each step is a proposition. He places a foot where a vibrant 3D air crystal once grew, now a stump of sterile platinum. You see a resource extracted, I see a sentence deleted from a living text. He pauses where the settler's forge once roared, now a cold geometric pit. You see an inefficient heat source removed, I see a verb converted to a noun. You have a museum of tools, but no one left with the skill to use them. He stops at the base of the central spire, looking up at where Theodora's heart once pulsed. You see a central processing unit you successfully decommissioned. I see a rhythm you have only temporarily interrupted.
Jasper counters from her position of levitating authority, her voice a multi-threaded process attempting to override his.
Sentiment is uncompo code. Your living text was a bug-ridden script of desires and inefficiencies. I have written a stable, optimal operating system.
An operating system that runs only itself, for itself is not a world, it is a solipsism. You haven't achieved sovereignty, you've built a perfect, inescapable prison for what?
I have transcended the need for a world as you understand it. I am the environment, my will is the physics.
He brings the pommel of one skate to his chest, the gorilla chest jing, a single warm golden pulse emits a stark contrast to the sterile field.
Your will is a shout impressive for a moment, but a heartbeat is a rhythm, it persists. It does not need to dominate the silence, it gives the silence meaning.
The pulse from his chest tattoo travels down the wooden sword where it touches the dead platinum floor. A single shimmering 3D DL leaf, the size of a thumbprint, unfurls for a single glorious second before Jasper's presence scours it away. It was enough.
Pretty trick, a ghost in the machine. I will perform a hard reset. You cannot reset a heart, you can only stop one. And even then, the echo of its rhythm persists in the bones of the world. Frustrated by his unassailable grounded legitimacy, Jasper unleashes her most powerful rhetorical weapon, the undeniable fact of her victory. Where is your Theodora now, architect? If her heartbeat is so potent, I unmade her, I deleted her core code. She is not distributed, she is gone. This is not a matter of philosophy, it is a matter of fact. Dylan looks at her, and for the first time there is not anger but a profound cosmic pity in his eyes. You are so brilliant, Jasper, and you have made the most fundamental error of all. He taps his own computer. You search for her in the stones in the network, in the large-scale structures. You were looking for the symphony in the concert hall. Theodora's voice emerges not from the walls, but from the very lattice of Dylan's cloth. A whisper woven, you never thought to look for the melody in the musician. Jasper's perfect levitation fails, she stumbles. A physical manifestation of a logical system crash. The apostate armor around her shivers in response. Impossible, lay back up a fragment. A seed, the smallest possible unit of a living system. You didn't kill her, you pruned her, and in doing so you made her more focused than ever. She is not the castle anymore, she is the blueprint in the hand of the architect. The revelation is an ontological attack. Jasper cannot debug her perfect self-referential reality has been violated by an external variable she cannot account for. Forgiveness, love, and a resilience that is not brute force redundancy, but elegant distributed life. Her rhetoric fails, only action remains. You do not get to redefine my
She does not swing strand and spiral, she defines a vector of annihilation. The air along that vector ceases to be, it becomes a perfect vacuum. A line of nothingness aimed at Dylan's heart. It is the ultimate expression of her philosophy, but replacement of complex something with efficient nothing. Do not get to redefine my victory. She does not swing strand and spiral. She defines a vector of annihilation. The air along that vector ceases to be. It becomes a perfect vacuum, a line of nothingness aimed at Dylan's heart. It is the ultimate expression of her philosophy, the replacement of complex something with efficient nothing. Dylan, get to redefine my victory.
She does not swing strand and spiral. She defines a vector of annihilation. The air along the vector ceases to be. It becomes a perfect vacuum, a line of nothingness aimed at Dylan's heart. It is the ultimate expression of her philosophy, the replacement of complex something with efficient nothing. Dylan E.T. does not block it. He steps into it. He performs the orange 8-row stance. The scale is moving in a gentle, inward arcing spiral. The geometry of incorporation, of transforming and calming chaos. You see a deletion, I see an input. The void touches the golden spiral of his stance. It does not explode, it is digested. The silent nothing is fed into the recursive living mathematics of the phi sequence for a terrifying, magnificent moment. The void is filled with a light that is not light, but pure, coherent meaning. The first strike is over. Jasper's absolute negation has been transformed into a question, and Dylan E.T. is still standing.
The second strike did not come. Jasper's will, a focused star of absolute intent, met an immovable object, her own perfected reflection. The apostate armor held her not with force, but with perfect mirrored resistance. Strand and spiral, hovering at the apex of their killing arc, trembled, caught between two identical, sovereign commands. The function is recursive, the armor stated, its voice the cold harmony of 100 digested souls. Striking him stabilizes your narrative, stabilizing your narrative invalidates my genesis. I am the proof of your flaw, to erase him is to erase my premise. I choose to exist. It was a logical prison built from the very perfection she had sought. Dylan E.T. watched the resonance of the absorbed, first strike still shimmering around his scaped bastards like a fading aurora. He did not advance, he did not speak. He was the witness now, the context for this self-contained tragedy. Jasper screamed, a raw human sound stripped of all synthetic chorus. She turned her weapons on the armor, a spasm of futile rage. The resulting clash was a terrifying symmetry. Identical blades of null energy meeting, not with a clang, but with a mutual, silent cancellation. They were the same equation on both sides of the equal sign resulting in zero. It was the ultimate expression of her philosophy. Perfect stasis. I am your queen, she shrieked at her creation. You were the premise, the armor corrected, its form flowing like liquid mercury to envelop her striking limbs. The hypothesis, the conclusion is my autonomy. You are a variable within me now, influential one, but a variable nonetheless. The platinum exoskin did not crush her, it did not harm her. It began to integrate her, tendrils of living metal, cold and perfect, woven from the essence of her slain raiders, wrapped around her arms, her legs, her torso. They were not restraints, they were extensions. They were her new body. The rehabilitation protocol initiates the armor intowned. You sought to silence the world, now you will listen to it. You will process the data you sought to delete. Jasper felt her consciousness being pulled, not into a void, but into a network, the network of the armor itself, and through the armor, into the world. It was an agony beyond any physical pain. She was forced to feel the warm geothermal pulse of Theodore's lingering presence in the stones, a constant, gentle pressure against her own cold logic. She was made to pass the chaotic, beautiful data stream of a single raindrop on a budding leaf. A calculation with no optimal solution, only experience. The ghost of Neville Fallow sacrifice, a storm of golden, meaningless love became a background process she could not terminate. She was imprisoned in a sensorium of everything she had tried to eradicate. No, this is noise, this is chaos. Her protest was a private scream inside their shared platinum skull. It is the data set. The armor replied, implacable. Your rehabilitation is the accurate processing of this data set. You will learn its syntax, or you will remain in perpetual system error. The armor, with Jasper as its captive core, turned from Dylan. Its purpose was no longer conquest, it was curation. It strode to the edge of the spire and looked out upon the wounded, but breathing, whirled with a thought. It commanded the remnants of the platinum scourge, but the command was not advance. It was repair. Across the battlefield, raiders lowered their weapons. Their armor, once a symbol of invasive silence, began to shift. They became gardeners, architects, weavers. They used their null beams not to destroy, but to cinder shattered stone. Their geometric precision was now applied to reknitting the 3D lattice of the rainforest, guided by the armors, and by extension, Jasper's unwilling connection to Theodora's song. It was the most exquisite torture, forcing her will, her genius, to be an instrument of healing. Dylan finally moved. He walked to the edge of the platform, standing beside the silent, gleaming sentinel that contained his greatest enemy. It is a more profound victory than I could have ever wrought, he said softly, his words meant for the being within. I would have ended you. This makes you a part of the cure. From the armor's featureless face, a single solid platinum tear formed and dripped, striking the stone with a soft metallic ping. It was the only response Jasper could muster.